people doing the breaking, the breakers, the people doing the breaking that have the shine, they don't all know what they're doing. They don't know that they're necessarily destroying potentially at least the place they're at, but also maybe all the places. They just know they're getting to use their ability. And there's a few of them that are way more powerful than all the rest, and they are essentially like amplifiers. And if you're just around these people, it makes you feel good and in a better mood. And they actually are able to take and amplify good vibes and also psychic powers and help make it stronger just by them being around. And that's like the most powerful ones. The most powerful ones can do their psychic stuff and they make everyone else stronger. Like there's an old guy named Ted something. Ted Williamson? I don't know. I don't think that's right. But he's from Hearts in Atlantis. It's a book, and the movie is starring Anthony Hopkins. It's a Stephen King story. And he is a psychic. And he can do what can he do? I think maybe you know what he can do? With his mind, he can make a spear that he can throw in his mind and you're just done. It's over. And it's just a word. And he thinks it into your head, and you think the word in his voice, like you hear it in his voice, and then just bam, you're dead. And he, that's not the only thing he can do. He can do other interesting things too, but like that's like his weapon, you know. He can just take you out if he needs to. But he makes all the other psychics stronger. And a whole lot of the psychics, the breakers, are, 18 and younger. They're kids. They're kidnapped, and they're all scared, and they're all lost, and they all feel better when he's around. And not just because he's an old guy who's calming them down, but because he's also a psychic, and that's one of his special powers is to make you feel good with the shine, and also to amp up your shine. So they're trying to actively bring everything down, and they use the enzymes removed from the brains of the children that they kidnap from the village in the wolves of the Kala. Kala is the village, and the wolves are these Doctor Doom robots that come in on robot horses with lightsabers. And they have sneeches, like Harry Potter style. They're hand grenades. They'll throw and they fly like a sneech, and they look like them. That's what they're modeled after. And they'll come and get you. And then they have lightsabers, and they have Doctor Doom green cape with hood and metal armor, but they got like a wolf, robot wolf face. So very similar to Doctor Doom, but wolf face, lightsaber, sneech robots, and robot horses. So those guys come in, they kidnap half of the kids in the village because they're all twins. So they'll kidnap one of the twins, and they get the enzyme out of that twin's brain, and they use that to make supplements so that the psychics can do a better job. Make sense? Thought so. Alright, let's keep it rocking. Shine. They had abilities. And so the Crimson King, which is the main bad guy that he's up against, in so much as there's a main bad guy, the Crimson King is using these kids. He's got all these different stations set up that are like a campus. Big campus with a bunch of buildings out in the middle of nowhere. And they got these kids, and they've got them breaking the beams. These beams. They do it psychically. And they don't really know what they're doing. They just know that what they're doing is it feels good and it's scratching an itch that they can do something. And they just let them do it, you know. Like their whole life somebody's been telling them don't think about what's going to happen in advance and see it before it happens, or don't guess what those numbers are, or like don't make those symbols. Don't you draw those symbols? Somebody's been hearing that their whole life. Pause. There was a short story in the short story collection called Everything is Eventual. I read that book back in middle school. And in the book, there's a story about a guy with the shine, and he doesn't know that he's got the shine, but he knows that there are these special symbols in his brain, and he has his own words for them, but they're not symbols in any language that he's familiar with any kind of a name, but he knows what they're called, and he makes these symbols, and he discovers that if he makes the symbols on like a maybe like a picture of a person, or I forget exactly how it goes, but if he makes the symbols for you, chat, then that's curtains for you. And so an organization contacts him and puts him into business, only using the symbols to remove undesirables, verified undesirables. They give him a file on them and everything, and he's looking through it, and like it's he's making a change, and it's not exactly bad. It's not exactly good guys that he's doing this to, but it's not people that he knows. So he's just an assassin and drawing symbols on stuff. And they pay him, and the deal is, like, they pay him enough money, just enough money to keep him prisoner. Like, all his stuff's paid for, and he has to, like, spend all his money, but it's all paid for, whatever he wants to do. But he doesn't get to have savings, so he's trapped. And one day they come a-calling for him, and he starts to get on the run. He makes it for a while, I believe, and eventually they get him, because he ends up in the seventh and final Dark Tower book here. He ends up at one of the campuses where all of these breakers, the psychic people, where they live at, they got him. So they took him in. There's actually a few different characters from different books of Stephen King's just kind of popping in there because they're psychic and they got found, you know. And so there's a few different stories that you could look out for that would also tell stories about people that would turn up at, where's it called? It's called Blue Heaven. Algo Ciento is what it's called in the book. Algo Ciento and Blue Heaven. And it's like Harvard campus, but walled off like Nuketown, or a prison in the middle of nowhere, essentially. I mean, that's what it was. And there's all these different minor characters. Maybe they were main characters in the story that they were in, but they don't matter in the Dark Tower world, but they were captured. One of the books called, what is it called? One of them is called The Talisman, and the sequel is Black House. And the kid in it, he can flip from reality to reality at will, but there's only two realities in his book. He can only go from one to the other. And one's like a medieval reality where there's, all the werewolves and monsters and stuff, and his best friend turns out to be a werewolf. Like, it's a really cool story. He's got like his own Chewbacca running around with him, and he actually destroys one of the locations, the installations where they have some of these breakers at in the second book, I believe it is, because he's a grown-up, and he forgot all about his psychic powers, which is something to think about, guys. Like, when he was young, he did all these amazing adventures, and he completely forgot all about it and lost all of his shine until it came back. And it's very fascinating to me how so many of the people in these stories are gifted and talented and highly intelligent and have extra abilities. So it's just something to think about when you're watching this presentation. If you've read these stories, think about it a little bit, about how often being gifted goes hand in hand with type of a extra natural or supernatural aspect, you know. And I want to see if you can draw some parallels in your own life, cause chat, I know I can. I bet y'all can too, right? Let's continue. And at this place, they don't have to not do it, you know? They can cut loose and do their thing. And them doing their thing is breaking the beams. And they break the beams better. These kidnapped, tortured children, held captive by maniacs, live or die. Those kids are destroying what is holding together the entire universe. Every universe. Every universe. They're breaking those beams. If they break all the beams and the Dark Tower falls and crumbles, then every universe goes out. And they don't know they're doing that, but the bad guys know they're doing that. Now the bad guys, a lot of them are humans. It's kind of like they live. A lot of them are humans. But a lot of them are wearing human masks. And they got like rat faces and rat skin and bird faces, boar faces. I mean, it's every kind of animal. They're animal, anthropomorphized animal monsters, and they wear magical human skin. It's like a mix of tech and magic that makes pause. How many videos and articles and pictures and discussions and lectures have I seen about the level of the advancement of our current, known to us, mask and disguise technology? How many videos have I seen in the past 6 or 8 years specifically about how effective current masks are? And keeping in mind that any technology we are aware of is very, very far behind the cutting, leading, bleeding edge of tech. It is not that far out of the realm of possibility that creatures or people are creatures, are we not? That people or creatures could certainly use today's existing technology that we are aware of, basically off the shelf, you know, maybe off of an internet shelf, but still off the shelf, somebody's shelf, available masks that will completely hide who you are. And if you weren't necessarily a who, but a what, well, it would hide that too, right? And that is how these cats get around, is they put on fake skin and they pretend to be people for a little while. It's a good time, right? Them look just enough human that everybody doesn't scream and freak out. But sometimes their mask won't be on just right. You'll see a little bit of something. And they'll usually just kill the people that do, because it's mafia and organized crime. Like, they're bad dudes. In every realm, including the one that would be considered this world, or even the Dark Tower book version of this world, like there's organized crime and there's secret evil magic going on. all behind the scenes and undercover, like kind of Men in Black style, but it's all going on. And in his world, it's no secret that there's werewolves and vampires and zombies and monsters. He's also sort of like the Witcher. He is no stranger to monsters. He knows about all of that, you know, every bit of it. He just doesn't have swords to fight them with. So the monsters wearing the human suits and the humans that work for them are all working together to destroy the Dark Tower and all of reality. All he has to do is find it. He's got to find it and save it. He doesn't know how he's going to save it, but he's got to get there. And that just involves walking for years and years and years. And he picks up people along the way. Pause. For the first 3 or 4 books, the Dark Tower was more of an idea and something that happened to exist, maybe in a place that you couldn't touch even. He believed it was real, but he had never seen it. His father had not seen it, as far as I know. It was lost. Just a memory of time. And he'd only see it in his dreams, and it was usually different. So in the last 3 books, whenever he gets closer to it, and he's closer and closer to it, I gotta say, I was a little disappointed because of the way that it ended, and how it seemed like I spent all these years of my life reading these stories, and then it just didn't go anywhere exciting. And you know, maybe obviously that's how the story it just had to go, because it would have went another way if it could have. But maybe I was expecting too much as a younger me, and I should have known better. But man, at the end of the book, when he finds the Dark Tower and he gets there, basically he goes inside of it, and it gives him a "this is your life" kind of flashbacks in every room. It's like a different era for him, and he gets up to the top, and it just resets him to the very beginning of the very first book. So it's a loop, and he was returning to source, just like Neo. So I don't know. I thought he was going somewhere with it the whole time, and then it was just the end of the Matrix again, you know. So yeah, whatever. Continue. And that's part of the story, obviously, but it doesn't really apply too much to any of this, because what matters, okay, is that in his world, there are edges and corners of the realm, and in the very center of it, where we would call the North Pole, is a giant tall tower, and there are beams that look very much like that coming out from it, or at least they cause the formation of clouds. The beam's invisible, but this is the physical effect. Okay? There are portals that are both magical and technological, and there are also natural means and psychic means for switching between different universes and realities, and they're all stacked on each other to where this is even possible. Okay? The number 19 is featured very heavily in all the stories. Synchronicity is a very, very important part of the Dark Tower series. Very important part. The analog of the city of New York, which is the city of Lud in the Gunslinger's world, was run by an AI, which went crazy and killed all the people that lived there. Okay? And let's see, what else? There was, in every level of reality, a major major problem with people's children being scouted, screened, tested, observed, pursued, taken, used, discarded, and replaced by the evil and bad and dark side of reality, because they would use the children for their special abilities, or to fuel those special abilities. And also, in parentheses, they do a lot of naughty stuff to a lot of those kids as well. And they would also, if you're perfectly willing to do this to a gifted, talented child that was a valuable asset to the cause that you have, you would do all that to them. What would you do to a kid that didn't matter? Anything they wanted. Slow. So there are a lot of stuff going on with kids. Psychic stuff. Abuse stuff. Magic stuff. Which is really sad and messed up. And they had to do a dance called the Kamala. It's some interesting stuff, you know? I mean, the number 19, Kamala, portals, doorways. Kids getting, kids getting abducted and abused and killed and all sorts of different things, you know? And it just seems like it's all part of a story, you know? And yeah, it is. This is a fictional story. None of this stuff. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. In this book, the last book, The Dark Tower, it's revealed that one of the worlds is Stephen King's world himself, and that he wrote these books under the hypnosis and possession by a deity of the realms of this book, and that it told him what to write, and it put him into certain circumstances in his life to make him do it. And he was resistant, so there were consequences, but he becomes a character in his own book. And gets to meet this guy that he made, and it really blows him away. And he's like, wow, man, I made you, you know? But it's this whole thing. So there's also a real place. Now, in the book, what do we got? It's the corner of 2nd Street and 47th Street, maybe. I don't recall. This is called Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza. Now, it's a what they call a pocket garden, and it's in the book. In the third book, which is the first one that I got, I showed the picture of it, the Wastelands. In the book, one of the characters, Jake, who's a young boy with psychic abilities that dies in one reality and gets transported to Gunslinger's reality in another reality, and he dies in that one too, and then gets pulled through again, and then dies again. I mean, it's just constant. Pull the kids through, kill them, pull them again, and pull them through again. It's wild. Anyways, in his world, he goes past this block, and this place is boarded up. It's got a big fence around it, and it's under construction. And he climbs over the fence, and in this place is this wild garden. Now, I suppose this is what it looks like now. But in the book, when he first goes there, it's just a construction site, and it's just dirt, and it's got one rose growing out of it. And that rose unfolds, and it has the universe in it. It has all universes in it, which is pretty cool that it's a real place. And this is the Dark Tower of New York City. Dag Hammarskjöld Tower, which almost sounds like Dark Tower, you know. Like, that's it. It's an apartment building. And it bears no resemblance to the one in the book. Anyways, it's a real place, which I just wanted to point out. It's a real place. And we can talk some more about how there are links between Stephen King books and whatnot. Oh, this is for the next one I'm going to do. That's where I went to elementary school. That's called East Three Notch Elementary School. It's now the City Hall in the town where I live. But we'll save that one for next time. Because, yeah, I've been going 61 minutes. That's not bad. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep it at 20. Let's see if I missed anything. No, I guess I got it all for now. Just wanted to talk about the Dark Tower and some of the interesting aspects of it that I've noticed unfold over the years as I look at things. And man, maybe I will go back and read it. I don't know. It's been a long time. I sure would like to find the first and second books in hardcover. That'd be a good synchronicity. I tell you what, the universe. If I find the first and second hardcover editions of the Dark Tower series, then I'll go back through and I'll read them all again. Just put that out there. All right, y'all have a good day. Happy Monday. Y'all stay warm, man. It's cold as hell out there. It's like 30 degrees out there, and I'm in South Alabama. Check out the tin cloth jacket, the waxed canvas jacket. I'm doing shorts on it, but it's a legitimate thing. I mean, I made this thing. I didn't make the jacket. I just melted the wax and applied it. But man, if y'all work outside,
Spit it out.
paint your jacket. It's awesome. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go. Yo, he's not wrong. The tin cloth jacket is pretty good, so definitely check out the shorts on that. And if y'all want to see how to make it, maybe I'll do one of those too, because it's real easy to make the waxed canvas. Just need some beeswax and a little crock pot, and then you're good to go. So that is part 2 of the Dark Tower presentation of some of the highlights of things that I've seen in the Dark Tower that would appear to be also present in our own realm. And yeah, I'm going to do another one in a little bit about some buildings. Stick with the architecture theme for now, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to go get me some more water or something, and then, we'll do it some more. Anyways, happy Monday, and y'all have a good evening. And I'll play us out of here. Yeah.